Chat series, kicking off your day with Regena Thompson for the Texas Blast Post Show. Regina, how are you doing today?
Good morning. I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Good. I'm excited to have you on. Well, a staple in the women's division. So we're going to be talking about the Texas Blast and you as a martial artist. That's a big belt you have there in the picture I've uploaded. Tell me about how you performed, how you competed at the Texas Blast.
Well, first of all, that is a huge belt. It's actually nice and heavy. I've never won one quite like that one before, so it was exciting. And I'm privileged to have it. First off, the division itself was a good division. It was pretty small, but still was packed with some talent, if I must say. With Chelsea, and I believe it's her name from Mexico. But it was a good turnout. I enjoyed it in the open weight division.
Okay. You have won accolades before, but tell me a bit more about what you kind of enjoy about still winning, winning these, whether they're awards or rings. What's your favorite part?
Well, honestly, it's not about the merchandise, if you want to say, or the
Mhm.
prize. It's actually competing with my girls. It took a little while for them to kind of come around to wanting to do martial arts and competing at their own pace.
Mhm.
And now just the excitement of competing with them anytime that they compete. I don't do it every time just because I feel like I'm a little bit older and my body's not the way it used to be. But in general, I've kind of picked and choose which tournaments I wanted to compete at. And if it's one definitely that they're competing at, then it's one of my top that I would like. And then Texas Blast, when they said they wanted to compete there, I was like, hometown, I love
Mhm.
that tournament. I love Donna, so we grew up together and it was just a pleasure and an honor for all three of us to kind of compete together here in our hometown.
Let's talk about it. How did your daughters do?
Well, my oldest, Layla, she's 13. She's a brown belt. So in open weight, competing with black belts and other, advanced
Okay.
belt and other ages in her division, she came out with third place, which was great. I'm so proud of her. She's really stepped it up to where I can see myself in her as far as
Wow.
her wanting it. She watches videos. She has that mental game that she's trying to develop. And in her advanced 12 to 13 division, she received first place, which had some top notch advanced belts, Alchemy, and then some of the Kickstart competitors that have really stepped it up and pushed her to her ultimate limit. And then my youngest, which is Callie, she received second place in open weight in her 9 and under division. And then she also received second place in her 8 and 9 year old intermediate division. So I'm very proud of both of them. Win or lose, just being there and able to coach them is just a dream come true.
I'm sure you've coached so many other people who maybe you see as family, right? What
Yes,
are some
ma'am.
of the emotions though associated with your daughters, with your kids being on the mat fighting?
Oh my God. I mean, a lot of people have asked me that question, and I've always been competitive, whether I'm competing or coaching. I've always just, put my all into it, whether I'm competing or coaching. But ultimately, to coach my girls, to train my girls, and then ultimately to see them excel. And again, it's not about winning or losing, but to see the change in them. That's just a feeling that I really can't explain it. It's just an overwhelming feeling to just see them out there, to be behind them, to support them, to guide them, to use them as an example of hard work. They got a late start as far as competing, but ultimately the energy and the effort and the the proud part of them wanting to do it is just, I can't explain it. I really can't. I'm just so happy, and I hope they go as long as they want. I hope they are lifers like me myself, but whatever happens, it just happens. It's just a proud moment for me.
I feel like there are so many benefits of sports, martial arts too, and that's one of the beautiful things when you see it become a family thing. I've interviewed people
Absolutely.
who are maybe not the same caliber as you, who started after their kid, and like, I just want to get on the mat with my kid and share this experience. And whether it's the reverse or the way that it is, as you kind of pave the way for them, and they're sort of, exploring in their own way. It's really awesome to see, and I could hear it from you. Um,
Absolutely.
I'm sure you were busy with your own divisions and then with your kids. What about, were you able to catch anything else from the Texas Blast with maybe the men's divisions, or, how the competition was otherwise?
Well, as far as the men's division, of course, I was able to catch some of it, again, because Willie Hicks, my brother, my adopted brother, my ace, he actually competed. So I was able to coach him a little bit. But what I want to talk about is more of those junior divisions and those underbelt divisions. Myself, I've been teaching for Premier now for about 2 years, 2.5 years. And I was able to take a group of kids. It was about maybe 8 to 9 of us that were able to compete, and just to watch the competition in their division and even outside of their division, those junior divisions and those underbelts that are coming up, they're just amazing, especially Laco, that's in El Paso with Team Alchemy. He's always been a great instructor, whether it's forms, fightings, weapons, traditional. So to watch his children as underbelts, and then even to see him come up. I didn't realize that he had both of his sons competing. One, I think, believe was in the 6 and 7 division, beginner that beat one of my students, but he was awesome. And then his other son, his older son, he also beat one of my students. And just to watch them come up, it again reminded me of my girls. But just in the next 3, 4, 5 years, some of these juniors, as adults or even as black belts still in the junior division, are going to be awesome. Texas has some really powerhouse kids that are going to come out of this state and totally represent like we would want them to do.
Yeah, that's so exciting. And Texas is a huge state, a lot of talent. And, the Texas Blast, how long, do you, any idea, maybe not a specific number, but how many years have they been putting it on?
The Texas Blast itself, this is the second year, but
Okay.
before, it was the Jam on Nationals. And so if you count those years combined with these last 2 years with Danae having some type of connection with it, it's been at least 15 years, maybe more.
Right.
And I've had the opportunity to attend all of them just because it's a hometown, and then supporting him. And when he was doing it with J Dog, Jason Holmes,
Mhm.
I supported both of them. And so this tournament is one of the biggest tournaments that we have in the city itself. And just because it's still going on, Donnie took the bull by the horn to kind of keep it going and to make sure that Texas brought in some of that national competition. So I expect it to grow. And then even in the future, having my own event to where I can also bring in some of that competition. So as we as Texans don't always have to fly out to get the competition that we're looking for.
Yeah, yeah, I do remember. That's why I asked. There was, he had a co-promoter, and then now he's promoting this with him and his wife. I believe,
Yes,
when
ma'am.
I did the
Yes,
pre-show
ma'am.
with him. So there's a lot of experience when it comes to promoting. How would you say, we talked about the competition, the juniors, but the run of the event? How would you say that went?
Oh, the run of the event has always been top notch. Again, when it was the Jam on Nationals, for over 10 years itself, it brought in national competition. Locally, some of the people stepped up to, kind of face their, I don't want to say face their energy as far as bringing in other people. They stepped up to the plate. They made sure that everyone here had competition to compete with, and even now for Danae to keep it going just says how much he is connected to the martial arts world. He goes, he supports everyone, he does his best. He has his son that competes, that's a top-notch competitor. So in general, that shows how much people, want to come to his event and support him and also bring their students. There's a lot of good teams out there right now.
I believe that they did a seminar with the point fighter professionals. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am,
You
you
brought
are.
them in. Were you at all able to catch that? If not, maybe what's your philosophy, or what's maybe your favorite part? I'm sure you as a teacher are always still learning.
Absolutely.
What maybe is your favorite part about learning from other top notch competitors?
Absolutely. Throughout my competitive years and even my martial arts career, my instructor is always and will always be Ishmael Robles, but he, at a young age, allowed me to go out and learn from other people. Not that it wasn't something he couldn't teach me or hadn't taught me, it was just a different perspective of
Mhm.
how people see things and the way people do things. And my career, I've learned from a lot of different people who has molded me and helped me become the person that I am. And I ultimately want my students, my girls, and anyone that is wanting to excel in sport karate to learn from different people, because someone can also always teach you something, even, beginner divisions. I watched a kid in an intermediate, I think it was 10 and 11-year-old division, and his footwork was amazing. And it taught me something. I had my kids, students, I had them watch this kid, because his footwork is something that at that age, I don't think he even realized what he had or what he can do. And if he continues to build on top of that, learning from different people, then I see him going a long way. So I always encourage everyone to not just learn from your instructor or not just learn from the people that are in your circle. Go outside the box and try to learn from anyone and everyone.
I think that's so special because I have heard of and known some instructors that are a little possessive over their own, that don't want you to go out of the studio or the school. So you feel like you've kind of taken the other philosophy, the embrace knowledge philosophy, and put that onto your own students from your own instructor.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If there's something that I think that they need help in, or something to where I've given them all the knowledge in a certain aspect of whether it's kicking, it's punching, it's footwork, or ring management, or defense. If it's something that I don't think I can explain, or they're not getting in the right way, then I definitely want them to kind of see it from another aspect. I definitely, even if I do give them something and I think, okay, they'd have great footwork already, or they have great kicks already, or they blitz really cool or really good right now, I still believe that there is something out there that someone else can give them to actually elevate them,
Mhm.
to make it just a little bit better than what I was able to give to them themselves.
Yeah, we're all different. There's so many different types of learners. So you might be the perfect match for maybe someone, another person could benefit from a little
Absolutely.
change in perspective. That's really
Mhm.
refreshing to hear in the sports sector. Sometimes coaches, but okay. Well, let's go back to the Texas Blast a little bit. What was your favorite part this year? You said competing alongside your daughters. Maybe something else that you really enjoyed about the Texas Blast.
Well, I enjoy the music. Just playing the music in the background. You're able to kind of groove and
Mhm.
and kind of feel. You don't have to put your headphones on and kind of
Right.
isolate yourself. It's something that when they play the music and everyone hears it, it gets the tournament kind of going. You see people, whether it's parents, it's competitors, or it's volunteers, scorekeepers, judges. Everyone kind of starts to dance when they hear their song, or when they feel the beat or the vibe.
Mhm.
So I think one thing that I really like or enjoy is just the music. It's kind of like a big family reunion, or
Mhm.
a big house party, if you want to
Mhm.
say that we're working out, we're training, we're competing against each other.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest things that I enjoy about it. And then also the awards. When it was the Jam on Nationals, they gave out the gold records.
Mhm.
Those are things that are different to me. We all get the medals, we all get the rings, things like that. And those are just as precious. But when it becomes something different,
Mhm.
something outside of the box, or even something unique, I've known Danae forever since we were kids coming up in Texas in karate. And I know as he got older, he was a DJ. So for him to kind of combine those two worlds and incorporate it into martial arts, those are some of the things that I enjoy and I love about that tournament.
Yeah, and I can definitely see those sometimes the things that people love maybe don't appear the next year, but I think everything you mentioned will stick around for the years to come, which is great.
Absolutely.
And have you already sort of like mentally carved out to go again to this tournament for next year?
Absolutely. Competing or not competing, coaching or whatever it is, I wouldn't miss it for the world. I wouldn't. There would have to be something that was just that much more important, which life outside of karate does exist. I didn't
Mhm.
always think that coming up and getting, at a young age, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't miss it if he moved it to a different location or even decided to take it to a different city, which I don't think he will, or I don't think he plans on it. I still wouldn't miss it. I would always support him, also always support the tournament itself, just because it's run so well and the awards and the competition and all of that. I would definitely support him no matter what.
Amazing. Well, Regina, thank you so much for coming on to the Power Chat series to talk about the Texas Blast and just you a bit more as a martial artist. It's been a pleasure to have you on.
And I want to thank you and I want to thank Alex. You guys are awesome. Keep doing what you're doing, stick with that girl power. And then hopefully one day soon I'll be able to be on the show with you again. I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to it.
I was just thinking maybe one day we'll have you and your girls on the show.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That they would love it. It would be something that would be new and refreshing to them. And just to get them to talk and open up to the karate world. They're a little shy, but
Mhm.
mommy's not shy. So it kind of balances out if you want to say, but I'm looking forward to it anytime. You guys just let me know.
Okay, great. Well, thanks for coming on. People, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your Wednesday.
All right, babe. Power, baby.